greater self-confidence and personal growth. Before we jump into today's meeting, let me quickly brief you on the 4 ground rules to be followed. Firstly, keep your mobile phones on silent and do not talk on taboo topics such as sex, religion, or politics. Please remain on mute unless it's your turn to speak. Lastly, if you have any message to be passed on, please use the chat box right below. Without any further ado, I would like to call upon our presiding officer to take the meeting forward. He is a senior Toastmaster associated with the club since 2011. He has served the club earlier in the roles of secretary and treasurer. Please give a big round of applause and welcome the president of our club, Toastmaster Guruvairappan. Over to you, Toastmaster Guruvairappan.
Thank you, Abhirami, for the wonderful intro. So, first of all, I welcome all of you for the 735th meeting. I declare 735th meeting open. So, couple of days back, I spoke to one of my friends about Toastmasters. He asked me about what is Toastmasters and how it helps an individual to develop as professional communication and listening leadership abilities. So I briefly explained about meeting segments of Toastmasters and how it helped me to develop as a leader. Because in my mail, I used to mention, if you are not a good listener, you cannot be a good communicator. If you are not a good communicator, you cannot be a good leader. This is a motto I used to mention in my mail. So after looking at this, he asked me, how listening is how you are comparing listening with your ability with Toastmasters, how listening helps you to develop as a leader. I told him in meeting segment, we have something called prepared speeches where every speaker will come and deliver a speech. So by observing his speech, it improves I can take away a lot of positive things from him. So that in that way, I'm able to listen, improve my listening power. Not only that, during evaluation speech, whenever evaluator evaluates a speech, she or she gives positive and areas of recommendation for every speaker. By listening to that, I also improve my communication so that it helps me in my leadership skills. So this is how Toastmaster works, and I told him, and she said he will be attending meeting very shortly. So we will have one more prospect Toastmaster in list. So without much ado, I hand over control to today's TMOD, Kritika Raju, who is completing her master's degree in HR this year. She has joined the CTM 2 years back, and her passions are reading crime stories and to spend time with her sister. Now let's hand over control to the young, energetic, charming, dynamic, and gorgeous Kritika Raju as member of Master of Ceremony Master of the Day. Hand over control to you, TMOD, Kritika Raju. Kritika?
Sorry, sir. Yeah. Thank you very much, Presiding Officer. It gives me great pleasure in hosting today's meeting. Just a week ago, I was crawling through my Facebook feed, and that's when I realized that I had put in so many childhood photographs of mine there. While I was going through it, I also realized that I had taken over the TMOD's role for the upcoming week. And that's when nostalgia hit me. I thought how well and how beautiful it would be to traverse the journey of childhood. So here, today, we are going to remember our childhood and learn the various things that we had been and done during those days. As a young child, we always remembered and are known for a lot of things that we do. Apart from all of which, we also learn by our mistakes. I was a very troublesome child as a young girl, but one thing that I would never turn it away for is my childhood, the life of a child. As a young girl, I always decided to poke my ears with a spoon, put naphthalene balls in my nose, and probably I even injured myself with a spoon with the eye. One of the most important things that I did in a truth or dare game was to swallow a button. So these are all the things that I had done as a young child. And I'm sure a lot of us have done crazy things too. But today, there is something that I'd like to tell you. Childhood is simplicity. A child's eye is the most joyful thing that a person gets to see, the smile of a child. But despite all these things, a lot of people get to see childhood in a lot of blissful ways. So let us move on to Toastmaster Aishwarya. Toastmaster Aishwarya is our word provider for today, and she's going to conduct a few games in terms of words. When I asked her what is the most memorable moment in her childhood, she told me that it was during one of our teacher day programs when she had to deliver a speech to an audience, and her father did not know as to how she would react to seeing such a large crowd. And then after her speech was over, there was a thunderous applause from the audience. Her father told her that he was very proud of her achievements today. So with that, I over to Toastmaster Aishwarya.
Thank you, TM Mori Toastmaster Kritika. The way you narrated the story literally made me think about those days, and yes, nostalgic. So good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. And I'll be presenting to you all a word game. It's nothing but the game of proverbs. Now first, let me share my screen. So I welcome you all to this gaming session called the game of proverbs. The rules are pretty simple. I'll be showcasing I have 10 proverbs, and I'll be representing those proverbs through means of images or pictures. And each person, and those of all who all know the answer, please unmute yourself and answer. So let's get this started. So here you go with the first proverb. Can anyone guess what is this? You can unmute yourself and answer.
Money cannot buy you everything.
No.
Any clues, Aishwarya?
Any clue? No clues. This is the only clue.
Hello?
Clues are all you
Hello?
want, is it?
Yes. I think
Hello.
we have someone.
Is it greed for money?
Uh, quite similar to that.
The more you run after money, money will run away from you.
Oh, why am I receiving wrong answers? All right, let me reveal the answer. It is a fool and his money are soon parted. It's actually a fool guy, and this money bag is saying tata bye bye. So that's why the fool and his money are soon parted. So here we go to next. It's quite easy.
Look before you leap.
Exactly. The answer is look before you leave. Going on to a third, yet another easy one.
Maybe Aishwarya, you can give the starting of the proverb.
All things that are good.
Is it every dog has its day?
Yes, it's every dog has its day. So find that a dog is, going out for a vacation, so it's enjoying its own day. So I can correlate like that. Going on to the next.
Is it to be in your own skin?
It is quite similar to that. Quite similar. Come on, relate with the animal over here and with the wardrobe over there.
All cats are grey and dark.
No.
Leopard can't
We
change,
say something
change
and
its
we are
spot.
something.
Sorry, a leopard can't?
Change its spot.
Yes, exactly. A leopard cannot change its spots. Moving on to the next. very easy, and we use this proverb on a daily basis. That's the only clue I can give.
Double-edged sword. We have
So,
two sides.
sorry?
Double-edged
Sorry?
sword. Double-edged sword.
No, not that.
Two sides of the same coin.
Nope.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
Yes. It's don't judge a book by its cover. Moving on.
All that shines is not glitter. No,
No.
all that glitters is not.
Glitters is not
All the glitters is not gold. That's the answer. Next.
What is he appearing to be doing actually?
He is actually stitching. His hands stitching.
Time saves 9.
Stitch 9.
The stitch in a time.
Yes. Yes, a stitch in time saves 9. Next. I couldn't find any more image for this. It's
Crying
simplest of
over
all.
spilt milk. Crying over
Yes.
spilt milk.
Yes, exactly. Crying over spilled milk. I couldn't find any more tougher image for this.
No use crying
Next.
out.
Next.
A bad workman blames his tools.
Yes. A bad
Wow.
workman blames his tools. Moving on to the last and final one. I know it looks funny.
From the horse's
Directly
mouth.
from the house's mouth.
Sorry?
Right from the house.
Directly from the horse's mouth.
No.
Never look a horse in the mouth.
Yes, it's quite similar to that. Don't look at the gift horse in the mouth.
Wow.
So this I end the game of Proverbs game, and I hope you all have enjoyed it. And with this, I hand over the control back to our team, to Master Kritika.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Aishwarya. That was a fabulous set of games. Remembering those games, these are a few games. These are a few games that all of us would have played when we were a child. I'm sure all of us have played these on all the streets of the Chennai city, and those who are not from Chennai on your own cities. But the next photograph that I'm going to show you this is me. This was taken when I was 3 years old, and this picture represents how I am not today, which is fat and bubbly. Okay, so pure happiness is found in nothing but in an innocent smile of a child, they say. So with this, I'd like to say something else too. Look at the world from a child's eye, says Kerala Satyarthi, which means that the child's eyes denote simplicity. All of us need to live our lives simple and clear, just like a child lives his. But that is not really possible in this complex world. But whenever you get the chance, live like a child, because it's the best way to live life. With this, I'd like to call upon our general evaluator for today, who's going to give us the portions for the exams that are going to be held further on. With that, I hand over the control to the general evaluator of the day, Toastmaster Gautam. Toastmaster Gautam once told me that he had a fight with his brother, and his brother apparently seemed to be vanishing, and later on he found that he was in his uncle's house. So that 2 hours, I think Gautam was in splits because he was not able to find his brother. And let's hear from Toastmaster Gautam.
So good evening, Toastmasters and guests. So whenever I feel nostalgic, my mind becomes free and my heart becomes elated. So since our childhood, we have gone through various emotions and feelings. Our parents surprising us, picking our siblings from the garbage, meeting our best friends at our school, our first crush on our teachers, and our first love during our teenage days. All these memories and emotions makes us happy. But among this, one terrifying thing is that whenever we commit a suicide, I get reminded of this. Can anyone see this?
Okay.
Yes. And also this.
Master will move the participants to the breakout room. Now,
Belt.
Yes. Whenever we commit a mistake, we used to get beaten by these tools. So today as a G, I'm going to be strictly monitoring the entire proceedings of the meeting. To assist me, I have two teams. One is the tag team, that is timer, R counter, and grammarian. And another team is the speech evaluators, which I will be introducing at the later part of the meeting. So now I'm going to introduce the timer of the day, Toastmaster Tamil Priyan. So when I asked him about his favorite childhood memories, he said that he had been missing from his school for 5 hours, and then he had returned to his parents. So, timer of the day, can you explain your objectives?
Thank you, Gender Evaluator, fellow Toastmaster, friends and guests. As a timer, my role is to remind all the speakers how much time they spent on the speech so that we run the meeting on time. I also will signal when the speaker is long enough according to their project requirement. For example, for a prepared speech, 5 minutes. On completing 5 minutes, I'll show you the green signal. Are you able to see? On completing 7 minutes, I'll show you the for a prepared table topic. The speaker should complete the speech within 2 minutes. On completing the 1 minute, I'll show you green signal. For completing 1 minute 30 seconds, I'll show you. For completing the maximum limit, I'll show you the red signal. So I'll complete my report. I'll back to stage. I'll complete my report on the timings. Thank you. Over to General Evaluator.
Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Thank you, Toastmaster Tamil Priyan. And today's R counter is going to be Toastmaster Murli. And when I asked him the same question, he said that every weekend he used to visit his grandma's house and he used to enjoy all those delicacies that his grandma used to prepare for him. So Toastmaster Murli, can you read out your objectives?
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, my dear guests. Today, my role as an counter is to note any overused words or filler sounds used as a crutch by anyone who speaks during the meeting. Words may be inappropriate interjections such as well, but, so, and you know. Sounds may be During the evaluation portion of the meeting, I will report observation when called upon. Thank you. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Murli. And today's grammarian is Toastmaster Jimmy. And when I asked him his favorite childhood memories, like when he was 6 years old, his father was saying that Santa used to come to his house and used to place the gift under the Christmas tree. And when he was 6 years old, he and his sister red-handedly caught his father placing the gifts under the Christmas tree. So, Toastmaster Jimmy, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gautam. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. So as a grammarian, I have two basic responsibilities. My first responsibility is to introduce the word of the day. The word of the day is nostalgia. So nostalgia is defined as an affectionate feeling you have for the past, especially for a particular happy time. So it can be used in the sentence as such. Example, the story about the country boy managed to evoke nostalgia. So I encourage all the speakers to use the word of the day in your talk today. Moving on, my second responsibility is to comment on the use of English language during the course of the meeting. So I'll be noting down the good and not so good usages, and I'll submit my report when called upon by the G. Thank you, and over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jimmy. And I hope that we are going to have many nostalgic moments in handle along the proceedings of the meeting. Now I hand over the session to Toastmaster Divya Raj.
Thank you very much. Now let us move on and understand why I have put this picture of me playing a Hawaii girl from Goa. So this picture symbolizes my 3 week of intense preparation for a fancy dress event. I hope this picture symbolizes your role-playing skills as well as a child. Not just that, 3 weeks gives a time amount for everybody to write a speech and prepare as well. So now we'll be moving on to the first segment of our meeting. It's called the prepared speech segment. We have our first prepared speaker, Toastmaster Bharat. When I asked him what is the most memorable moment in his life as a child, he told that once he was in 8th grade and he skipped his Sunday tuitions to go out for a movie with his friend. Apparently, his sister found this and she blackmailed him into doing whatever she wanted. But the end result, he said, was that his sister found out and his father also found out, and both his sister and he were given a pasting and a lesson that they learned for life, which is never to lie to their parents. Before I go on to Toastmaster Bharat, let us introduce Toastmaster Geeta, who's going to be correcting his paper. So, we have these very few teachers sometimes in schools wherein, they come and tell us, this is how you're supposed to write your answer. If you write like this, I will give you +2 marks. If you write like this, I'll give you extra 3 marks. So like that, we have some amazing teachers in Toastmasters. Before I call upon Toastmaster Bharat, let me call upon Toastmaster Geeta, his evaluator, to read out the project objectives. Over to you, Toastmaster Geeta.
Good evening, everybody, and special good evening to Toastmaster Bharat. Toastmaster Bharat is giving his icebreaker speech today. The purpose of this project is for the member to introduce himself or herself to the club and learn the basic structure of public speech. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Toastmaster Bharat. Bharat Vijay Ramesh. Toastmaster Bharat. Bharat Vijay Ramesh.
In 2008, there were 2 boys sitting in a college classroom. Sorry guys, I was muted. In 2008, there were 2 boys sitting in a college classroom talking a lot. The professor was so angry and shouted, "Yo, Bharat Vijay, always talking. Take your friend and get out, man. Useless fellow." The boy was so ashamed. With so much anger in his face, he rose up and said, "Sir, my name is not Bharat Vijay, sir. It is Bharat Vijay." Everyone started laughing. The professor went mad, haywire. Good evening, friends and fellow Toastmasters. My name is not Bharat Vijay, it is Bharat Vijay with double A. And I am here to talk about my life story. My dad is working for Indian Railways, and my mom is a housewife. Just like Toastmaster Kritika just told, my sister is very naughty. She's younger to me. But now she's happily married now with 2 sons. I love playing with those monkeys. In my childhood, I always wanted to become an artist. I love painting, landscapes, nature, especially mountains, beaches, rivers. Unfortunately, just like any other parents, my parents wanted me to do engineering. 2007 to 2011, gone just like that. Somehow I managed to get a job in Cognizant, an MNC. I joined there as a software engineer. They taught me C, C++, Java, SQL, NoSQL, database. Nothing went inside because I did electronics. Life took a turn when I met her for the first time in Cognizant. As I was sitting comfortably with my friends, she crossed over. She was so beautiful. She was mesmerizing. It was love at first sight. After multiple rejections, finally she accepted me. Life became so interesting. Months passed, days passed. We were living in this Maya. But eventually, We found out we were not compatible anymore. She had her own priorities and I had my own priorities. We decided to call it off and move on. And just when I realized, okay, at least now let me focus on my professional career. So I quit the company in 2014 and I joined as a designer in a startup. I had zero experience in design before that. I was very afraid at that time, but I know somehow this is my passion. I have to follow this forever. So I started studying design from that day. Now I'm a product design lead in OpEx analytics and artificial intelligence based company in US. In 2018, I designed a game called as supply chain beer game. It is being currently used in more than 5 universities in USA. Almost 20,000 students have already registered and played the game. You can also find it in online at beergame.opexanalytics.com. I got so much positive reviews for it, I felt high. I'm also excited about my current work and projects that I'm working on. Parallelly, while I was having so much fun in my professional career, I never ever failed to have fun in my personal space. I love talking, guys. In fact, I would say I'm the purest form of an extrovert. If you gather 100 people in a place and you ask everyone to talk to each other, I would be the first one, sir, let me, sir, talk. So that's me. That's who I am. With this carefree or cool attitude, I was able to travel to 5 different countries: Singapore, Dubai, France, Switzerland, and USA. I met a lot of new people there. I made amazing friends. I had no fear in communicating with them. I also went to Himalayas, stayed there for 1 month. Again, I met a lot of new people. I climbed with them, trekking with them. I also played in snowfall for 3 hours. And next day, I thought I got a cold. As I said, guys, I was having so much fun in my life. That's when my parents wanted me to get married. In 2017 August, I met Deepika for the first time. We spoke for hours. At the end of the conversation, I said, let's get married. I really like you. She said, wait. We just met. I said, okay. I said, don't worry. I'm super compatible with anyone. She said, okay, not immediately, but next day. 11 months later, we got married. And we are still super compatible, as I told her. Now we have our son, who's 1 year old, Vedbira. He's giving us a run for the life situation almost every day. Thanks to my parents, I'm living with them. They are taking care of him, also us. Life was amazing, and it is amazing. But also, like everybody, I have my ups and downs as well. But I started focusing on only my positivity so I can travel towards it. I also wanted to explore my uncomfortable areas where I can really learn to improve myself. One such thing was Toastmasters. My co-founder suggested me, my company co-founder, Mr. Giri, suggested me to join Toastmaster. So I immediately searched this Toastmasters club in Chennai. The first result was Chennai Toastmasters club. That Sunday, I joined the Chennai Toastmasters, and here I am making my first speech. I believe I can learn a lot from you guys. At the same time, I can also offer a lot. As people say in Toastmasters, we all can grow together. Thanks for listening to my icebreaker speech. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Bharat. I remember I was the Vice President membership when you joined the club. I'm really glad that you're delivering your first speech today. Now, our second speaker is Toastmaster Nanda. When I asked him as to what is his memorable moment in his childhood, he said that the summer vacations that he spent in his native, among the forest, in the tree, behind the trees, playing around the trees, around the Caucasian forest that he was in. And that is something that gets him nostalgic as well. So before I invite upon Toastmaster Nanda, I'd like to call upon his evaluator, Toastmaster Srikanth, to deliver his project objectives. Over to you, Toastmaster Srikanth.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Good afternoon, everybody. Toastmaster Nanda is presenting his speech from Pathways Project 1, Level 4, Presentation Mastery. There are a couple of objectives for his speech. The first is to practice the skills needed to effectively communicate change. And the next is to practice speaking about change. And Toastmaster Nanda is given 5 to 7 minutes for his presentation. All the best, Toastmaster Nanda. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Kritika. Thank you.
Let us put our hands together to welcome Toastmaster Nanda. Toastmaster Nanda, over to you.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, audible.
Good evening, primetime viewers. Welcome to India's #1 leading news channel, CTM. The breaking news for today, remember you're hearing it first on CTM, is that all peace talks between India and China has completely broken down. There's an imminent threat of war to be started any moment. Hold on. Viewers, we have another breaking news. Our Prime Minister, Shri Nandaji, will address the nation in few seconds. Stay tuned in. My dear people of India, today, 12th July, is a date which will live in memories for ages. An hour ago, our nation was suddenly and deliberately attacked by the Chinese army in multiple places, in Ladakh, in Sikkim, and in Arunachal Pradesh. After multiple incursions at the line of actual control, over and over again, we tried to find a peaceful way out of the differences between ourselves and our new enemy. But it has been in vain. We are now forced into a conflict against our principle of peaceful coexistence with all our neighbors. Conflict against a neighbor who believes in selfish pursuit of power with disregard to all existing treaties and its own pledges. We as a nation have never gone to war in any time of our glorious history. But if there's a challenge to the nation, we will give a befitting reply with all our courage and might. I assure you that our brave army is fully prepared and will defend every inch of our home, from our crown, Kashmir, to our feet, Kanyakumari. This is a time of tremendous change and uncertainty. I call upon each one of us to cast away all the differences, different religion, different region, different politics, different cultures, etc., and stand calm and firm and united as a single force. With this force, we shall fight on the mountains of Ladakh. We shall fight on the deserts of Rajasthan. We shall fight on the jungles of Arunachal Pradesh. We shall fight in the Indian Ocean, in the Bay of Bengal, and in the Arabian Sea. We shall never give up, not even in our dreams. My heart goes out to the Indian Army. They are not mere soldiers of the nation. They are the pride of every Indian soul. These men and women in olive green stand tall, displaying tremendous acts of valor in situations unexpected. The gallant sacrifices made on daily basis by these brave souls can't be compensated in any way. Away from the families, guarding the nation across extreme weather and critical ground conditions, we can only salute their spirit. Today, if every one of us are strong and faithful, ready for whatever service or sacrifice it may demand, I am sure by the will of God, we shall prevail. Jai Hind. Welcome back, viewers. Yes, we got it absolutely right with the breaking news. India is on war with China. Stay tuned. We have a defense panel discussion coming up with our eminent defense experts after a small commercial break. Thank you. Over to the PMOD.
That was an amazing speech, Toastmaster Nanda. Now I want to tell about a story. A story, interests a child because it sees fantasy in it. But what story does is something that I learned only via a WhatsApp group that we started this thing. And it had a conversation whether storytelling is an art or storytelling is a science. And we realized that it has both the options, and I did not understand as to why they were discussing so much on this topic. But then I realized that we have a keynote speaker today, Toastmaster Praveen Badalkar. So he is a quarter finalist in the World Championship for Public Speaking 2020, 9 times TEDx speaker in 4 different countries across the world. He also happens to have won an award for one of the promising entrepreneurs of 2019. Apart from all of this, he has delivered speeches at IITs and IIMs. Now, with such a wide array of knowledge and variety of interest, without further ado, let me introduce to you Toastmaster Praveen Badalkar, the science or the art of storytelling. Toastmaster Praveen Badalkar, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Now, even before I start sharing you about the science of stories, I must tell you, there's something common in all of us who are live right now. We all respect time. No, just not because we have started on time, but the world is under lockdown. You're still spending your valuable time in learning something, spending your time like this. It means you really respect time. And that's a true leadership quality. I must congratulate you for that. So I have been given 30 minutes, and public speaking is all about completing your content in given time. Whatever I've learned in public speaking is all last in 3 years. I fall in love with public speaking only because of Toastmaster. First time I remember I was standing in front of people, that was Toastmaster only. I never used to like the stages. Now, when I say stories, I must tell you, I'm not at all talking about Chanda Mama and Harry Potter stories. I'm talking about stories from life, stories from inside, or stories from outside also. But I'm talking about real life stories, true stories, that how we can use stories and why we should use stories. I think in 30 minutes, even if I'm able to give this message that why we should share stories, it will be great. So there are 2 reasons, 2 very strong reasons why you should share stories. Let me take one by one. For that, allow me to share my slides. So I'm opening my slide. And to share the reason number 1, let me share this simple analysis done by this guy called Rob Walker. He's a journalist. And this guy did one very interesting experiment. What he did, he bought almost 100 items from eBay. And items like what? Items like this, around $1 item, not very expensive, but around 100 items, he bought it. And then he hired 100 copywriters, people who can write copies, people who can write stories, good content. And for each item, he took one story. And he again started selling the same item on eBay. So what happened? When we injected a story along with that item, what happened? The same, for example, this, he could able to sell, it was less than $1. The same, along with the story, people bought it around $62. So is this only with the one item? This happened with only one? No. If you see, he spent only $129 in buying those 100 items, but the total money he made, just because he decided to add stories in it, is around $8,000. So the point I'm making, ladies and gentlemen, is this. Stories are not the instrument of entertainment. Stories is an instrument of finance. What do you mean by that? It means if you can learn how to tell stories to people, if you learn how to use stories as a leader to persuade, to influence, to educate, to inspire, to impress people, You will have more money in your bank. Why? Because if you tell stories, then you fall in relationship. There's the easiest way to fall in relationship with people when you tell a story, but a true story from inside. Now, let me go slightly deep today, and I will take that liberty to do that because I'm sitting with Toastmasters, and the way Toastmasters look towards storytelling and public speaking is completely different the way other people look. And that's the reason when I was told to cover art of storytelling, I said, let's go a little one step further, and along with art of storytelling, also cover science of storytelling. Because the art of storytelling is very simple. If you observe any story critically, every story has only three parts only. Only three parts. I don't see any fourth part in any story. The part one is setup. What do you mean by that? Setup means you're taking the audience behind. For example, the first speaker started in 1992 or something. So you're taking the audience behind. You cannot tell the true story from the future. That's not possible. That's called gossips. So if it is a true story, it has to be from the past. So one is setup. And second is struggle. So there are only three S. First, setup. Second, struggle. No struggle, no story. But here is the point. What I've observed in the last 3 years, people hesitate to share their struggle. They feel that if I share my struggle, why I should gain that empathy, sympathy, and why I should show that image in front of people. I have a wound, but I don't want to show that wound. So people hesitate to share that struggle. But understand, struggle is the most important part of the story. But just with struggle, story is incomplete. You make your story complete when you add the third S, which is success. 3S, setup, struggle, success. Success means what? Money? No, not necessarily money. Success means what you have learned from that struggle. Bigger the struggle, bigger the story. So when you are sharing that struggle and what you have learned from that struggle, you are actually helping millions of people who are going through the same struggle. So if you have a story, it's your responsibility to share that story. So structure of the story is very simple. 3S. Take people behind, in the past, and then just explain the struggle and then explain the success. What is your learning? That is the structure. So we'll not go deep in the structure of the story, but rather I would like to go deep in the science behind the story, not the art behind the story. That why stories are so powerful that one guy just spent 129 rupees and earn 8,000. By the way, earning money is one of the most difficult skills on this planet. Correct? How stories can help you to earn money, how stories can help you to improve your relationship with people. Let's understand this. You have to understand this simple cocktail of hormones. In case moment you see these scientific words, if you're thinking that Praveen, no, this is science, I don't belong to science background, this and that, don't worry. You don't need or understand science, or you don't have to have science background for this. You have to just understand these three hormones. We all understand hormones. It's nothing but the chemical reaction inside the body. Now, to make your life easy to remember these three hormones, just remember the word doc. We say doctors, we're talking about science. So doc. So DOC, doc, dopamine, oxytocin, and cortisol. Now, all Toastmasters or potential Toastmasters, it's critical for you to understand that whenever you're telling a story, what exactly happening in others' body, why we become so emotional when we listen to a story. Why we just know how to sit like this and listen to a story whenever someone is sharing a story. Why? What happens? Something happening in your mind, in your body, and we have to understand that. So let's understand this. So what I will be doing this, I will be sharing a simple story, and you have to do two things. First, understand what is setup, struggle, and success of the story. So you understand the art of also. At the same time, I will try my best to make sure that you are releasing those hormones inside your body. And I will tell you that at this point of time, you must be having this hormone inside your body because each hormone here has a specific role. So let me tell you a story. And then I will tell you, I will come on this cocktail of these three hormones. Let me pick any story from my life, or let me pick a story from my Toastmaster journey only, one of the best stories of my life. And if I'm saying one of the best stories, it means one of my best struggles of my life. The same story which I used even in this year's contest. Before I share that story, one more very strong realization which I learned in last maybe just few months, that The only reason why you should share a story because you want to give a message. See, as a leader, we don't want to become a performer. We are not coming to Toastmaster because we want to entertain people. No, we want to learn speaking because we want to give message, and telling a story is one of the best way to give message. So let me tell you what message I want to give you with the help of this story. The message is very simple, very common, very cliche. Message is don't give up in your life. Now you will say, Praveen, this is a very common message, but let's see how I use story from my life to give the same message, which is very common. So this is a story for you. I remember me and my wife I remember in 2011, me and my wife just watching TV. And suddenly my wife said, Praveen, wait a minute, we should watch this movie. I said, which movie? And she said, Rocket Singh. I said, really? Now, in case if you have not seen that movie is a simple movie where a common man can build business. In case if you have not seen that movie, it's a Hindi movie. And we saw the entire movie. I still remember me and my wife together watching the entire movie. And for the first time in my life after watching that movie, I got beaten by a bug called entrepreneurship. Never in my life I thought that I will become an entrepreneur. Because that movie is all about common man building business. I'm a common man. So I looked towards my wife. I said, hey, can we build business? Can we do this? And she said, Praveen, come on. No one in our family did business before. My dad was just a mechanic in Indian Railway. Your dad was an auto rickshaw driver. No one in our generation did business before. Neither we have educated to do that. It's like you have not done MBA, even I have not done MBA. I'm a pharmacist by education. She's a microbiologist by education. And we didn't have enough money. We were doing job, but in 10 years, we both were doing job. But you understand in job, 10 years, how much you collect. So then she said, Praveen, we are not in the position to start any type of business. It's very difficult. It's a big risk. And then she said, why not to take that risk? And I said, why not to take that risk? Let's take that risk. And we both decided to quit the job. We're doing good in our life. We decided to quit the job and started business. We injected our 10 years of learning and 10 years of earning to build that small 10 by 10 office on the ground floor of our own housing society. And it took us only 1 year to fail. What do you mean by that? Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you are feeling engaged, if right now, if you're feeling that, yes, Praveen, I am listening to you, the hormone what you have inside your body, which is helping you to stay engaged, if I'm able to drag your attention, if you're paying attention to this, the hormone what you have in your body is called cortisol. This is the hormone which is required at the start of the story only. This is the hormone which is required to drag the attention. I've been asking this question to many people that, is this happen with you? That you're looking towards the audience, the speaker, you're sitting in the audience and looking towards the speaker like this, but not actively listening to that speaker. And many people, more than 90% people said that, yes, Prabhu, this is very common. If that is very common, it is very important for you to drag the attention of the audience at the start only. The hormone which is responsible for dragging the attention is called cortisol. Right? Let's move further in the story. Let's understand other hormones. So what happened? Then it just took us 1 year to fail. Now, what do you mean by failure, by the way? The definition of failure varies from person to person. So failure, according to me, is this. So one day, today we have a team of around 200 people in our company. In those days, hardly 5 to 6 people. So in those 5 to 6 people, I was sitting in the office, small gala. Even my wife was sitting there. And someone said, Praveen, you should be moving right now. You have a meeting. I said, yeah, I have a meeting, I know. So I took my bag, came outside, but something was bothering me that day. When I was going for that meeting, I didn't have even 20 rupees in my pocket. Anyone who knows Mumbai, at least we need 20 rupees to pay to that auto rickshaw guy. That is a minimum fare. I didn't have even 20 rupees in my pocket. So I called my wife outside. She was sitting inside. I said, hey, come back, come outside. I said, do you have 20 rupees? And those people who are married, they know that sometimes in relationship, silence is more powerful than words. And she was silent. And that silence was screaming that, Praveen, In last 1 year, we have lost everything, honey. Just not your bank balance, or just not a mutual fund, or just not gold or saving. Even we have sold refrigerator, washing machines, and even fridge to manage this small collapsing business. So I thought, let me go home to find that 20 rupees. I just reached home in the same buildings. I went, I opened the door. My son was sitting down. He was playing with some plastic toys. And I thought, let me search that 20 rupees in the hall. It was not there. But Indian ladies, they have a unique habit of keeping something somewhere in the kitchen. So I started searching that 20 rupees in the kitchen. It was not there. Then I opened the door of my bedroom. And then I saw small, round, yellow color piggy bank of my 6-year-old son. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I knew there is 20 rupees in this piggy bank which my son saved, coin by coin, and kept it safe there. I turned back. I saw my son sitting in the hall. I slightly closed the door from inside without making any noise. And that day, his father decided to rob the piggy bank of his own 6-year-old son. But that day when I was walking on the road, that was the heaviest walk I've ever taken in my life because of the weight of those coins in my pocket. I was broke. I thought, no, I can't go below this. At this point of time, ladies and gentlemen, if you're feeling slightly emotional, the hormone you have in your body is called dopamine. This is the hormone which actually makes you little emotionally charged. You feel little, that you are really emotional about what you are listening right now. Because every time when you are a little emotional, that's the reason when we watch movie and when get emotional, we are more focused. And at this point of time, if you're emotional, focused, then you have this question in your mind that, Praveen, what next? What happened then? What you did? What happened in your entrepreneurship journey? But the hormone which makes people emotional is called dopamine. So what happened in the story afterwards? Then in the evening, me and my wife were sitting together. And I shared everything with my wife. I still remember I was crying in front of her. And she said, Praveen, do you remember the first time we decided to start our entrepreneurship journey, we decided to go to our parents and take their permission. And your dad asked very important question. Your dad said, Praveen, no one in our generation did business before. You're starting, difficult journey. What if you fail? And what you said, Praveen? I said, yeah, I remember. I said that, no, if I fail, I will try again. And then she said, Praveen, we have to accept this, that we have failed in this business. We have lost everything. Accept this, Praveen, but we will not give up. We will try again. And because of these words, ladies and gentlemen, me and my wife decided to stop that business. We quit that business. We started everything from the scratch, completely new business. And today, if we are in top 50 companies in healthcare IT, if Economic Times has awarded us as one of the most promising entrepreneurs in year 2019, or today we have a team of 200 people, all because of those words. Now, if someone has fallen in love with my wife, yes, Praveen, she's a very good lady, that hormone is called oxytocin. If someone is thinking like this, oh my God, Praveen, you have a very good partner. You're liking my wife more than me. That Praveen, wherever you have reached, your wife has played an important role. If you're liking her, that is called oxytocin, which is also called love hormone. Where we start liking people, we start building a relationship with people. You feel that, yes, I can understand. Yes, you feel that, yes, I can understand you. I'm with you. That's the hormone, oxytocin. So the 3 hormones, if you really understand stories, the reason why stories can help you to build a relationship, reasons why stories can increase the trust, when you really share stories in a proper way, using simple 3S method, then you can release the cocktail of these 3 hormones. When you do that effectively, you build trust. And when you build trust, you achieve the number 1 thing which is required to achieve, ladies and gentlemen, for which you have to understand this study. And this is the number 1 study which will help you to understand that why you should become a storyteller. The study done by Harvard University and the Robert Weldinger, who was the third study director, because this study was for 75 years long study. Nothing bigger than this on human happiness. The objective of this study was what makes people happy. And for 75 years, Harvard University, they tracked the life of hundreds of people to find the answer of that question, that what makes people happy. And they found the answer. What do you mean by tracking the life, by the way? It's just like someone getting enrolled in the study at the age of 19 will be tracked till the age of 90s. What do you mean by tracking? Just sending them the questionnaire? No. They actually check their bank balances. They actually check their medical records. They recorded them when they were speaking with their loved ones about their deepest concerns. That kind of tracking. And they found the answer. The answer was this: it's not money. They said the clearest message from the longest study done by Harvard University was 75 years. The clearest message is this: if you have good relationships, you will be happy in your life. They found if you analyze the data, even those people who are in 60s and 70s, if they have good relationship, they're staying happy in life. But if they're staying happy, they're also healthy in life. And if you have bad relationship, even you are in 40s and 50s, you can't stay happy. And if you can't stay happy, you can't stay healthy. Stories are the best way to build a relationship. If you understand, go back to evolution. Evolution started 25 million years ago. Sometimes people ask me, Praveen, why you are a storyteller? Why you are obsessed with stories? Why you are behind stories? Understand one simple thing. Evolution started 25 million years ago. There is a documentary film called The First Man. There's a documentary film, The First Man. And the objective of this documentary film was this: that what is that one decisive step taken by our ancestor because of which we are who we are today? What is that one step? What did? Many species started along with us. Why we are reached here? So initially they thought maybe our ability to leave the plants or trees, we decided to leave the trees. There are so many species still on the tree. Or our ability to control fire, the way we control fire, no other species can do that. And this ability has played a very important role in developing the brain, because we could use same energy which we used to use for digestion for brain. But towards the end of this documentary film, they said, one thing which really differentiates us, or because of which we are where we are today. If you see this documentary film, The First Man, towards the end, they show one lady standing and she's speaking to people, and the people are sitting down, they're looking towards her. And they said, our ability to tell stories, our ability to share perspectives. Whenever you share stories means your life stories, your struggle, what are your learnings from the struggle. Whenever you share that, people learn from you. That is the one thing which really differentiates us from other animals, is our ability to share stories. But stories are super powerful. They are very simple to make. Use 3S method. Whatever struggles you have in your life, use 3S method. Share those struggles, share the success, share the message with people. At the same time, also understand, because you're a Toastmaster, also understand what is the science behind the story. Why stories are so powerful? Because of those release of 3 hormones: dopamine, oxytocin, and cortisol. So what are the reasons? 3 reasons before I end. There are only 3 reasons you should tell stories. Number 1, if you want to make money. Yes, you tell stories, you build good, you're actually telling good stories, you will make good money. More stories in your bank, more money in your bank. Number 1. Number 2, build relationship, stay happy. And number 3, that is the only thing which is differentiating you from other animals, your ability to tell stories. So be a storyteller. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Praveen. If you would be kind enough, can we ask him 2 or 3 questions?
Absolutely, please go ahead.
The floor is open for questions. You can ask him about 2 to 3 questions. Anybody from the audience?
Hi, Praveen. Jagdish here.
Hi, Mr. Jagdish.
That was a great session. So I have I'm not sure whether this is a simple question, but you are a good storyteller. There is no doubt about it. At which point you thought that, okay, this is the right time to motivate others?
Yeah, that's a good question you asked. See, I started my speaking journey in Toastmaster. I still remember for the first time when I was invited by one school and I was speaking there. I was under the illusion I spoke very well, but fortunately I got a recording afterwards, where in that recording I could see audience also. And I was watching audience, I said, oh my God, they were not at all listening to me. Then I thought I had to learn how to speak in front of people. So like in Chennai Toastmaster, if you go on Google, find Toastmaster in Chennai, you will find Chennai Toastmaster. In Mumbai, Toastmaster in Mumbai, you find Mumbai Toastmaster. So I joined Mumbai Toastmaster. And for the first time when I was speaking, and I took 1 month almost, I practiced that speech almost for 1 month before I actually went on the stage. The first time I was speaking, it was my icebreaker. And I thought, let me share some key learning from my life. And I shared a learning when I decided to run away from my home when I was in 9th standard, when I failed in 9th standard. I took 2 years to complete 9th standard. I failed in English, I failed in maths. I was very poor in my school. And the kind of responses I started getting from people, especially from ladies, especially from mothers, that something just, even my child should listen. These kind of responses or feedback from people. If I have to give one more feedback, I was going to Delhi, I still remember that, and I uploaded one video on YouTube, and that video was all about that you're the output of your own decision. Wherever you have reached in your life is just because of you. No one else responsible for that. And I was going to Delhi and I saw one lady started chatting with me, and a girl, and she said, Praveen, actually I was about to tell my dad that I'm not interested in studies. It's very difficult. But I saw your video and then I realized, no, I have to change. I have to make improvements. So to be very precise, Mr. Jagdish, feedback from people have inspired me to tell my story. And I don't hesitate. I don't hesitate to tell that my dad was a rickshaw driver or I failed in 9th standard. There's so many things. I don't hesitate because I feel that there are lots of people who are going through the same struggle. And if I don't share my struggle and my learning from those struggles, it's not, I'm doing injustice with those people. So people's feedback really inspired me.
Yeah.
Thank you, Praveen.
Hi, this is Rekha.
Yeah, hi Rekha.
Yeah, hi. Thank you very much for sharing the story. Actually, I was in a dilemma. I have my own startup and there are many people who have been advising me. Okay.
I'm listening to you. Please go ahead.
Yeah, advising me to go for a job. So thank you very much. Your story was really inspirational to me, and I think your goal is met. So, okay, my question is, see, I have been interested in storytelling, but I do not have have decided on a particular journal or whatever it is. But I've been watching some videos on how to have a setup and all those things. As you said, setup, success, struggle. So that's formula. Can you guide me as a person who's just stepping into storytelling? Can you guide me like how can I improve myself as a storyteller?
Yeah, that's a good question. See, the easiest way to become comfortable in telling stories is to ask yourself that why you're doing that. What is your intention to tell stories? Is your intention just you want to share with the world whatever happening in your life, irrespective of thinking about how people will evaluate that? And it's done. So I'm not at all talking about skills. I'm not at all talking about your ability to communicate. I'm not on that. That can be learned very easily. But if that is the solution, then every person who has gone in convent school very fluent in English, or every person who is from an English speaking country, they will be a good storyteller. So it's not about language. It's all about your intention. Do you have that strong intention that, yes, I'm not going to visit this planet again. I am going through I've gone through some bad phase. If you are in struggle, don't share the story. If someone is going through the struggle, that's not the right time to share the story, because people are not interested in struggle. People are interested in what we have learned from that struggle. So just go back on your memory lane, find out your struggles from your life, and accept this, that the same struggle even others might be facing it. If the intention is pure intention is that, then I think it's just a matter of communication. It's just a matter of not necessary any language. Language is just a vehicle to deliver your content. uh, unfortunately we were ruled by British people for 200 years. That's the reason we are obsessed about English. Otherwise, English is a foreign language. So language, everything is secondary. The primary is intention. Intention is to help people by sharing what you have learned from that. Develop that intention, you will be an amazing storyteller, Rekha.
Yeah, thank you very much. Sorry, one more question in continuation of this. I understand language is not a basic criteria. Maybe I can use any language, but the only thing is like, can you help me to understand the steps or the signs or what should I follow or any initial step? Maybe as a first step, what do you suggest me? I understand the intention has to be strong, and apart from that, is there any other thing would you like to advise to a starter?
So the first step should be you making videos on social media. Understand we are fortunate that we have technology like this. Make videos, find out, write down your stories, make video and upload on social media. That should be the first simple step. Even I did the same thing. I decided to upload my videos 3 years ago. If you go on my timeline, all videos I started just 3 years ago. So to be very precise to your question, the first step is make videos on social media about your stories.
Thank you very much.
Hello.
Hi, Praveen. I have a question for you. Could you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Praveen, I know you will not know me, but I know you for almost 6 months now. I'm your proud student.
Oh, thank you very much for that.
Thank you for all the stories. I have heard these many stories for many times because I have attended your Q&A session, webinar, and the online courses. But still, it's feel magical and impressive even after hearing for several times. One question to you. What is that one idea or an incident which made you to share your Toastmastering lessons or experience to non-Toastmasters as well? Be it starting a course or a YouTube channel. What made that idea to share your Toastmastering experience to non-Toastmasters as well?
That's a good point. See, we have around 25,000 students across 128 countries now. And Speak and Grow is big. And we are expanding this community. And the only reason why I decided, I'm not at all a trainer. I'm still a, I would say, not a certified trainer. But the only reason I decided to share this, because I feel that if something happening in your life, which is helping you to grow, this skill is really helping me to grow, just not in my entrepreneurship journey. Imagine if there is a conflict in my family, I will make my family sit down, I stand and speak. Organizing your content in your mind and producing that content effectively, that is called public speaking. Public speaking is just not TEDx. Public speaking is just not winning the competition. So this skill is not only has changed my personal life, professional life, financial life. And I thought if it is changing my life, that it has a potential of changing others' life also. Doesn't matter whether you are part of a Toastmaster or not. Unfortunately, when we meet people, there's so many people are not aware about Toastmaster. And I also feel happy that so many people have joined Toastmasters because we could able to raise awareness about Toastmaster. But to be very precise, Swati, only reason, because I decided to become a trainer and started developing online courses and live webinars and this and that, because I thought if it is changing my life, it can change others' life also. That's the only reason.
Yeah, thank you so much, Praveen, and thank you so much for that valuable birthday gift to us.
Good afternoon, Praveen. This is Srikanth Kuttikrishnan.
Yeah, Mr. Srikanth, please go ahead.
Hello, Praveen. Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
Yeah, I'm listening to you. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, Praveen.
Good afternoon.
And yeah, on behalf of CTM, I thank you very much for being a part of our meeting today. It was wonderful listening to you. You were so inspiring. You brought in science to art of storytelling. You were talking about the different hormones were there. And also, you have become a very successful person in your life with the help of your wife and a lot of struggles that you have gone through. I can really see, because I have gone through so much of struggle on a different way, losing my father at a very young age. As a single mom, my mother had to take care of both of us. Everything is fine. So I really appreciate you for your grit and your determination and the willpower not to quit. And I pray to God, may He bless you and your family with lot of good wishes and lot of prosperity for all your ambition.
Thank you.
Now, may I ask you a very personal question, if you don't mind?
Please go ahead.
We have seen Praveen as a successful businessman in a materialistic world. is there another side of Praveen? What I mean by the other side of Praveen is, have you got a side which is more spiritual, which is going to a more higher dimensions of life? Because what you have been speaking about is all about materialism, accumulating wealth, and we all know whatever we accumulate in life is only a fleeting experience, and it is not going to give us long-term happiness or joy. What is there today, we give up tomorrow. Is there another side where you are transforming yourself to become spiritual and seeing the eternity of life, all that is there for us to see? Could you please share on that, if you don't mind? The other side of
I will share my perspective on this, and I will also share my perspective the way people look towards money. See, understand, money is a man-made metal and piece of paper. The amount of respect we give to money, it doesn't deserve that respect. It's not at all given by nature. Something which is offered by nature, we should still respect to that thing. Money is something which is man-made, but unfortunately, we have to accept this fact, which people do not accept it, that we are the only species on the planet who need money even to deliver babies. Now, if you critically observe whether you're doing job or you're doing entrepreneurship or you're doing anything, most of the time we spend our time only to generate money. You have to accept this fact. So what I've learned in my life is this, that even if you're doing a job, 9 to 5 job, you're passionate about it, very, very, very interested. But if I tell you that I don't give you a salary, people don't go to job, right? You need salary. So, and last point is money. Even in entrepreneurship, you're doing extremely well. Thousands of people are working in your company, but if you don't have profits, then the whole point is that the first thing, if you really want to have a peaceful life in your life, you have to take care of your finances. You have to accept this fact. This fact sounds bitter, but unless and until you don't take care of your finances, it's difficult to stay a peaceful, at least what I have understood in the last 40 years. Now, coming to your question, once you have taken care of your money, because unfortunately there is no end in money, but once you have taken care, imagine a person who has enough money to live a life which he has imagined. Then what is the other side of mine? My other side is this, which I've learned in Vipassana, and which is the best way of living life, is try to stay equanimous. What do you mean by that? Equanimous means do not react. Something happening good in your life, do not react. Something happening bad in your life, do not react. Try to stay equanimous. Try to stay only in the present, which is one of the most difficult things to do. Unfortunately, I'm a strong believer that there's nothing called God. I do respect all those people who respect, but this is Toastmaster. I will not go deep here, but I don't believe in that. What I strongly believe is this: anything which is made by human beings, they vary from country to country. Same with God. God is different in India. God is different outside. I respect all those people who are spiritual, those who believe in God, but my personal view, and this is the reason because it hasn't asked to me. So I don't believe spirituality means not standing in front of a statue and praying. Spirituality, according to me, is respecting this amazing opportunity we all have called life. And life is all not about the future, is not about the past. Life is what is happening right now. So within my capacity, I just want to stay in this moment right now. That is the spiritual part of Mr. Praveen. Living in the moment.
Thank you, Praveen. God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to everybody who's asked some questions. I'd like to extend a warm thank you to our speaker, Toastmaster Praveen Badalkar, for his amazing speech and telling us that you need to share your struggle and then your success. So Toastmaster Praveen, thank you very much for the honor. I'd like to see you back at CTM sometime soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All the best, guys. Bye.
Now let us go on to our next session of the Toastmaster journey, which is basically be fearless, because next up is table topics. Here, this is a picture of me standing in the Crocodile Bank in Chennai, and this picture symbolizes the fact that my parents have taught me to be fearless, have taught me never to be scared of anybody or any animal, anything that is around us. One thing, there's a lot of difference between being brave and being foolish. People can call it a thin line. You step on bravery, there's another side is foolishness. So do not cross that line. But now coming on to the stable topic session, we have our table topic master, Toastmaster Abhirami. Toastmaster Abhirami told me that she has a lot of memories on the beach. She used to go for a weekly outing with her parents to the beach, building sand castles, playing with everything that came on the beach, collecting some shells and taking them back home. I'd like to present to you table topic master, Toastmaster Abhirami, to take over.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kritika, for the wonderful introduction and a great comparison of the snake picture with the table topics. Guys, it's not that difficult. Yeah. And first, let me start by briefing on the TT session. This is an impromptu speaking session where a speaker will be given a topic on the spot and you'll have to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. The timer will flash a green flag at the end of the first minute and a yellow flag at the end of 1.5 minutes and a red flag at the end of 2 minutes. And the maximum that you can speak is 2.5 minutes, beyond which you'll be disqualified. Now, the topic that I've chosen for this evening is very much aligned to the theme of the day. So it's time to go down the memory lane. Let me call upon the first table topic speaker, Toastmaster Sharath. Are you available? Toastmaster Sharath? Okay, I'll call upon Toastmaster Nadira.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes, Toastmaster Nadira, your topic is a box of crayons. I repeat, a box of crayons. Toastmaster Nadira.
When you use the term a box of crayons, a feeling of nostalgia quite hits home. So, fellow Toastmasters, respected guests, and respectful educational speaker, Toastmaster Praveen. So, I have a very simple thing to tell you all. He spoke about the science and the art of storytelling. What about the other part of it? So, fellow Toastmasters, I believe that there is a significant amount of color which comes out from the character that we pose in our speaking skills. So the way you say something is very important. Let me take you all down a small journey. I'm taking you back about 5 to 10 years ago. There was a small girl who had no idea what to talk. So her parents took her to this beautiful place called Only Success. That kid was me. They thought I was completely stupid and I could not talk, I could not study, I didn't fare very well in my grades. So to add some amount of definition into my life, my parents put me into Only Success. They taught me the art of making notes. They taught me the art of studying, but they never taught me the art of actually interacting with one another. I believe Toastmasters is the box of crayons which everybody needs in their life. It adds a color of leadership. There is a color for your speaking skills. There is a color for your personal communication, one-on-one. You learn how to be with another person. And for that to be there, you need the aid. So my box of crayons being Toastmasters, Chennai Toastmasters Club is my home club. So I'm asking you a simple question. If you're a guest and you're here right now, what's your box of crayons? Thank you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nadira. That was a wonderful comparison of the Toastmaster Club journey with your crayon box. It is really amazing. Now let's have the next speaker, guest Bharatram. Are you available? Yes, okay. Yeah, your topic is front bencher or back bencher. I repeat, front bencher or back bencher. Yes, Bharatram.
I would relate to my childhood days as an action, thriller, and a romantic movie. Happy evening, Toastmasters. I am Bharatram here. Moving on to my childhood days, I would surely be a backbencher. I would explain you how my life was a thriller, action, and a romantic one. That is very simple. I'm just a Vijay fan. A cautionary note that reads in all movies is that don't follow the stunts at your home. I read it very carefully and I followed those stunts at my school. I wasn't aware that a person should love only one person at a time. During my childhood days, whichever girl I see across, I just give her a rose and propose to her. That included a teacher also. A nightmare for all students was exams. Being a backbencher, nightmare for me was also an exam. My exam scorecard used to be compared to an ECG X-ray scan. 3 top grades and 3 downgrades. Rolling back to my nostalgic memories, I used to giggle around. But we usually don't spend lots of time in spending to our nostalgic memories. I guess the speakers over here and the guests sitting over here should at least spend a valuable time in cherishing them. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bharatram, for giving us a Vijay story from your life. So going over to the next speaker. Yeah. So we have guest Suganya Sahu to speak on the next topic. Suganya, are you there?
Yes.
Okay. Suganya, your topic will be My Childhood Ambition. I repeat, My Childhood Ambition.
Not audible, your voice is trending.
Okay. I repeat the topic. The topic will be My Childhood Ambition.
Thank you, Table Topping Master, for this awesome topic. And from this topic, I'm recalling my childhood memories. What I used to be. In my childhood, I used to be a total Naughty drama queen. I used to take part in every competition and I used to get prizes for that. But what I used to like is I wanted to be an actress. But now I am a corporate job holder. So in my childhood, I had a very mixed type of memories for being to be an actor. Sometimes I wanted to be an actor. Sometimes I wanted to be a business tycoon. And sometimes I wanted to be a police officer. So in my childhood, this was a very mixed type of ambitions. But I was not clear at that time. I was very confused at that time. But above all, if I recall myself from those memories, I want to tell I wanted to be actor. Because till now I love the dramas. So over to you, Table Topping Master.
Thank you, guest Suganya. We all had those mixed ambitions where ambitions kept on changing. So over to the next speaker. Let me call upon distinguished Toastmaster Nina ma'am. Nina ma'am, are you available?
Hear me?
Yes, Nina ma'am, you're audible now. Yeah.
Right. So,
your topic will be a fairy tale that stayed in my heart. I repeat, a fairy tale that stayed in my heart. Over to Nina ma'am.
Fairy tale that stayed in my heart. I think all of us love fairy tales because they're always filled with things that are impossible. When we are kids, we read fairy tales. When we were teenagers, we read Mills and Boone. And these were all stories about women and how they were in some kind of dire circumstances, and then the hero would come and sweep her off her feet or whatever. When we are kids, all of this is magic and we're just waiting for something like that to happen. But then you realize, do they really live happily ever after? Just as we have our childhood and we have our nostalgic trips, many of the fairy tales are just nostalgia trips. We're always thinking in terms of, okay, what happened to Rapunzel after the prince climbed up to the tower and cut off her beautiful hair? What happened to Cinderella after they got So,
இவங்க நீனஜன் முன்னாடி யார் பேசுனா?
So what happens is that in terms of fairy tales and reality, you find there's a clash, just like we had one we witnessed one just now. So you wonder when Cinderella finally leaves all those pots and pans and her evil stepsisters, does she go into lockdown with her husband, and does she have to cook the dishes for her husband and carry on with the rest of her life over there? Or does she go into a corporate job, and does she become the boss? Does she start a startup venture? Can she become an entrepreneur? My granddaughter is actually reading a fantastic book. She was showing us, she's all of 4 years old. So she's showing us this book which says her story. So we realize history is always about his story, and her story is something
Dina ma'am, your voice is on mute. Yeah, thank you.
Now what? You want me to repeat what I said?
Her story. I think that's where you ended.
Okay, I'm saying life is not always like your fairy tales. It's not always a woman who needs rescuing. In today's day and age, a woman can always set up her own business, set up her own enterprise, be the entrepreneur and the boss of her own business. And as women have shown, when it's lockdown time, she also can help with the house and finances. And there are so many things that women can do other than just sitting and waiting for Prince Charming to turn up and rescue them and give them a better life. My granddaughter is reading a book called Her Story, which is about women and their stories and their achievements. Because when you think about it, history is always his story. It's all about the kings who went to war, and this is what they did, and this is what happened. What about the queens? What about all the women who did so many things? Marie Curie is the only woman Nobel Prize winner that we know of. There are so many women with so many achievements. All we need are people to write down their stories and make their fairy tales come true. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you, DTM Nana Ma'am, for that eye-opening his story and her story aspects of the fairy tale. That was really, really eye-opening for us. Going to the next speaker, can we have guest Robinson? Can we have guest Robinson? Okay, let me call upon Toastmaster Satish Babu. Hello, Toastmaster Satish Babu.
Hi.
Your topic, when my parents caught me red-handed. I repeat, when my parents caught me red-handed. Toastmaster Satish Babu.
Okay. My topic is when my parent caught me for a red-handed, right? In the childhood days, I was very naughty in a childhood days. So one fine evening, when I completed my school, then I went for a small shop to buy a biscuit. And that day, I don't have any money with me, but I bought everything from that shop. But without giving any money, I left the shop. But unfortunately, that shop owner know me very well. He came to my home and complained to my mom, and he explained everything, whatever I did today into the shop. And my mom took me to the shop and gave me whatever I want. And finally, she told me that in future you should not do the same thing again. If you want anything in your for snacks or anything, you should ask me for anything, but you should not repeat same mistake again in your life. Yeah, and that moment until now, I have not done this mistake in my life. Oh, this is one thing my parents got me in a red-handed. So over to you, Toastmaster Abhirami. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Satish Babu. I was sure that you would definitely have a story for this topic, and I was not disappointed. Thank you so much. Yeah, so we are done with the table topic session. Over to you, Tia Modi.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Abhirami, for the wonderful table topic session that you conducted. After the tape, now the next, 1 second, hold on, sorry. Yeah. Next up is the evaluation session. You know, after our exams, we always have this fear. People say, you know, Diwali varapoidu veetla. So it means that you're going to get your results after your exam. So something like that is going to happen today, but do not worry. Toastmasters evaluation is going to be full of positive comments and constructive feedback for your development. I hand over the session to the general evaluator, Toastmaster Gautam. Over to you. Yeah.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kritika, and good evening once again, Toastmasters and guests. Now it's my time. So, now coming to the prepared speech evaluation. First speaker, Toastmaster Bharat Vijay, was evaluated by Toastmaster Geeta. When I asked her about the question, what is her favorite childhood memory? Like a parent's favorite water cycle as a surprise during a birthday, and this was a one of the unforgettable childhood memory. Now I request Toastmaster Geeta to present her evaluation.
Good evening, everybody, and good evening, Toastmaster Bharat Vijay also. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And my hearty wishes to Toastmaster Bharat Vijay for taking his first step. Right from the beginning of your speech till the end of your speech, you were very clear, confident, and commendable. So I appreciate you for your efforts, Toastmaster Bharat Vijay. In the process, we learned a lot about you. You brought to our attention that your name is Bharat Vijay and not Bharat Vijay by beautifully explaining to us with an incident. So that was really commendable. We loved the way you brought it to our attention that your name is Bharat Vijay. We also learned that you took up engineering because your parents wanted to do so. And in the process, you enjoyed living in Saga. You enjoyed living in Maya. So we could feel that kind of feeling that you expressed, that you were very nostalgic as you were reminiscing the days you lived in Maya. You also went on to tell us that you were a very creative person and you enjoyed painting. You loved painting sceneries and landscapes and all those things. Probably it is this creativity which helped you to follow your passion. That's how you went on to pursue your passion and you became a games designer, and in the process you have designed a lot of wonderful games which the children really love. Probably that's how you got to join the startup even after pursuing your engineering. So we also learned that you were very fond, you loved talking. So then this is the right forum for you, Toastmaster Bharat Vijay. I'm sure you will enjoy this forum. So to sum up, you were very clear, confident, and commendable. And you are in the right forum to improve yourself. We also could understand your feelings, the way you could express your nostalgic moments when you reminisced your days when you lived in Maya. And you also explained to us that after living in Maya, it was important for you to move to a career and focus on your career. So you have done a beautiful job, and since this is your introductory speech, I do not have much to give you, but still I would give you one recommendation, which is how like you can incorporate your voice modulation in your upcoming speech. So on the whole, you were really excellent, very confident, clear, and commendable. Over to you, Toastmaster of the General Evaluator.
Yes, thank you, Toastmaster Geeta. That was a wonderful evaluation from you. Now the second, to evaluate second speaker, Toastmaster Nanda, we have a veteran Toastmaster, Toastmaster Srikanth Kuttikrishnan. And when I asked him about his unforgettable childhood memory, he said that during his younger class, he was very fond of whistling. So he used to practice at home and he failed in that. So one day, during the prayer session where your entire school was standing, he attempted to whistle and it came out to be a deafening sound that everyone turned towards him and his teacher took him to the principal room. So that was his unforgettable childhood memory. So Toastmaster Srikanth,
Thank you,
like
General Evaluator.
Yeah.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Good afternoon, everybody. Toastmaster Nanda, that was a very intelligent idea of yours to don the cap of a news anchor and present a news which turned out to be a speech. I'm really impressed by the way you had all these issues delivered to us as a news anchor. What was very interesting about you was the current situation that we are going through as a nation was well brought out. The China bashing that's happening all over India, you brought out very well. And it was even more interesting when you said that it is going to be a prime minister, a news breaking story is coming up and the prime minister is going to speak. It was very inspiring. In fact, all of us, I was feeling very passionate. I was feeling so patriotic listening to our prime minister. It was literally our honorable prime minister who was speaking, I felt. So all this gave us a sense of emotion, a unity, and we had a common thread that was binding all Indians together, that this is the time that we need to be together. We need to fight the forces which are literally tearing us apart. And also you gave a wonderful story and you gave a beautiful emotional touch when we lost 20 soldiers to those people who took us for granted. And now the tables have turned. That's what you said. We are at a driver's seat where we are dictating terms with China. Very well done. Literally, to be very frank with you, I was literally feeling that it was monkey path by our honorable prime minister. So having said that, what could I have done to make it more dramatic, more emotional? Is that if you could convey your message with more of depth, with more of anger in your eyes, with more of hand gestures, literally oozing out that venom to these Chinese people, that we have to take them for task for what the entire world is going through. That would have been interesting. And the second part was, I couldn't really come to terms when you said there is a news, there's a breaking news coming in, and it is your Prime Minister Nanda who is going to speak. I mean, do we have a Prime Minister by name called Nanda? You could have just said, you're going to hear the Prime Minister speak, and then you could have spoken just like our Prime Minister. Maybe the voice would have been different. Having said this, let me sum up the entire evaluation. A very beautiful, very relevant, a very passionate, and the most wanted, inspiring story for the whole nation. You have brought it out in your 5 to 7 minutes. We were really impressed. In fact, I got goosebumps. And if you can bring in more of emotion, more of anger, that if you see a Chinese army man doing such things, you really want to do something to him so that he learns his lesson, would have been more profound, it would have been more vivid, and we could have really related with that, and we could have also got that emotion to a higher level. And please avoid mimicking names. If you say it's the Prime Minister speaking, stop with that, because we know it is Nanda who is going to speak. Over to you. Thank you very much, and all the best. Over to the General Evaluator.
Unmute yourself.
Yeah, yes. So thank you, Toastmaster Srikanth Krishnan. So now it's time for our tag team to read out their reports. So first, I would like to call our R counter, Toastmaster Murli.
Hello, good evening, everyone. So first of all, I will list down the flawless speakers.
Toastmaster Murli. Toastmaster Murli. Okay. Request Toastmaster Jimmy to report. To share report. Yes.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Here is a grammarian report. First of all, the word of the day was used by many Toastmasters. I'm very happy for that. Congratulations to all who have used the word of the day. I'll read out the names. Toastmaster Kritika, Toastmaster Aishwarya, Toastmaster Gautam, Toastmaster Nadira, Toastmaster Bharadram, Toastmaster Distinguished Toastmaster Nina John. Can we have a big round of applause for them? The good usages: pursuit of power, befitting reply, wide array of knowledge, cocktail of hormones, going down the memory lane, tearing us apart, tables are turned over. These were the good usages I have noted. I couldn't find many not so good usages. In fact, it was all good today. And special admiration for Toastmaster Praveen for the flawless and use of very simple language, and indeed a great learning too. Thank you, and over to you, General Evaluator.
Yes, thank you, Toastmaster Jimmy. So next we'll have our timers report. Toastmaster Tamil Priyan, can you share your report?
Hi, yeah. Good evening once again to all of you. So here my timer report. Starting from the presiding officer, Toastmaster Kritika, she took a 2 minute 28 second. Toastmaster Aishwarya, 6 minute 11 second. Again, Toastmaster Kritika, 2 minutes 30 seconds. And General Evaluator Toastmaster Gautam, 6 minutes 5 seconds. Prepared speech, Toastmaster Bharat, he finished his speech 5 minutes 50 seconds for his 6 minute speech. Toastmaster Nanda, he finished his speech 4 minutes 57 for his 7 minute speech. Prepared speech, Mr. Toastmaster Bharat qualified for voting. Our keynote section took 40 minutes overall, including speech and question and answer. For a table topic, Toastmaster Nadira, 1 minute 40 seconds. Toastmaster Bharatram, 1 minute 51 seconds. A guest Shukanya Sahu, 1 minute 15 seconds. Our DTM Nina John, 3 minutes 42 seconds. Toastmaster Satish Babu, 1 minute 10 seconds. In evaluation section, evaluator 1, Toastmaster Geeta, 3 minutes 5 seconds. And Toastmaster Srikanth, 3 minutes 8 seconds. In table topics, qualified as speakers are Toastmaster Nadira, Toastmaster Bharatram, guest Suganya Sahu, Toastmaster Satish Babu. Back to General Evaluator.
Yes, thank you, timer Toastmaster Tamil Priyan. So now coming to my General Evaluator's report. The meeting started sharply at 4 p.m. and most of almost all of the role players were present in the Zoom meeting by 3:50 p.m. except me. Uh, Sadat Adams, for the first time, has explained all the roles and vision of the Toastmasters very well. So, presiding officer started off with his speech emphasizing on his listening skills, and he was very clear about that. Now, coming to the new session, the Prow session, Toastmaster Aishwarya handled it very well, and all the images were vivid and the props were good. And also simple, so that most of the Toastmasters were able to recognize those proverbs. Now coming to the prepared speakers, first speaker, Bharat Vijay. Though he was giving his first speaker, he was he seemed to be a bit experienced, and his evaluator Toastmaster Rita was on point. So now coming to the second speaker, Toastmaster Nanda. As we know, he evolved to a great speaker now, and his evaluator Toastmaster Srikant just hit his nail with his evaluation. Now, coming to the education session, Toastmaster Abhilash has been creating the hype in our group, just debating whether the storytelling was an art or science, and just expressing their opinions and nominating other Toastmasters. And now I believe that all the Toastmasters who attended this session might have convinced that storytelling is both art as well as there's a science behind it. And it was a wonderful session by Praveen, Toastmaster Praveen. Now coming to the TT session, Toastmaster Abhirami handled it very well, and all the topics were connected to the theme of the day. Now coming to the Toastmaster of the day, now theme being the childhood memories, I thought she would pick up random images from internet and she will be sharing the presentation with us. But instead, she took it in a creative way. She shared her own pictures from her childhood days, and it was really good. And it all induced nostalgic feeling within all of us. Now, word of the day being a simple one, that is nostalgic. Most of us know this word, and hence most of the Toastmasters had used this word of the day. So now coming to the points to improve. So during the education session, I was running late by 10 minutes, so timer could have displayed the cards when he was about to maintain the time. And other Toastmasters are requested to be on mute so that it won't disturb others. That's all from me, and I'll hand over the session to Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Gautam, for the General Evaluators report. Now, I believe that it's time for launching the polls. So can we have the polls, Toastmaster Anju?
Toastmaster Kritika, maybe you can continue with your nostalgic moments with us. Meanwhile.
Yeah. So I think that there are a lot of things that we all love about our childhood, our growth within the family, and both outside of it. So there is something that I'd like to share here. I told you in the beginning that I was very naughty. There was this one incident that I lied to my parents about. So this incident was when I was in my first grade, and yeah. So this incident was when I was in my first grade. I had gone off to school, but I had overheard that my parents, I mean, my mother and her friends speaking that they were planning to take a trip towards the ECR, and I had overheard this, so I didn't want to go to school. So, like any other naughty child, I lied to my van driver saying that I have ear pain and that I wanted to go back home immediately. So I went to school. The van driver came home, dropped me back, saying that the child has an ear pain, and she started crying in the van, so I could not leave her in school. And this kind of, my mother actually started, my mother got palpitations because of that, and she started feeling a little nervous, and she did not know what to do. So she immediately called up her friend and was about to tell her that we'll cancel the trip. I cannot come today. My daughter is not well. I'll have to take her to the hospital. That is when I got up all of a sudden, got out of the acting and told, Mommy, can we go now to ECR? So my mother actually caught that lie, and she did not tell me much, but I understood that moment that my mother had understood it. And I promised that I'll never lie again. So that is something that I'm following till date. And that's something that I'd really like to share. There is one more thing that I believe that all parents should give their children is the confidence and the belief in them, because the emotional psychological development of a child begins from home. So if you're able to give the child the necessary love, care, affection, and a sense of confidence along with this, the child will grow up to be really good. So I hope you all enjoyed the trip down the memory lane. Thank you very much. Over to you, President. Presiding Officer, Toastmaster Guru Vayurappan.
Sorry. Thank you, Kritika, for being wonderful MC today. It was nice to see your childhood photos and everything you showed us, which no one will like to share with the others. Now it's time for us to get a feedback from the guest. Guest, please let us know our feedbacks about today's meeting for the guest. Bharatram, you have come after a long time. Your feedback.
I'm Bharat again. After a very long time, I've just come to Toastmaster again. Probably I'll not be joining now. I'll be joining after exams, but surely I'll be joining. So VP membership, I'll surely join. Don't worry. The next one is that the CMOD, as usual, she was good. I used to see her when I was there in Toastmasters, and the meeting went on well. It was nice. As said by the evaluator, I would just request the group members to mute your videos while others are speaking, in order to stop the giggling around. So other than that, everything went on well. Everything was neatly prepared. Even the signal lights was clear to everybody. I guess the Toastmasters are going very high. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Nice to see you back, Bharat.
Thank you.
Meena John here.
Thank you, ma'am.
Few more guests, I think. Gautam, I hear you. I think you are also.
Hello, can I speak?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, the first session regarding the pictures were shown, and then we had to tell which idiom it was, right? So that was very interesting. It was a good icebreaker. And then then Bharat came. How the name is Bharat, not Bharat, that came, and everyone spoke very well, and the polls were also conducted well, and the session on storytelling was also very good. It was a very interactive audience. Thanks a lot.
Okay. One more guest. Ahana, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Please let us know your feedback about today's meeting.
Today was my second session of this Toastmasters meeting. It was actually really good. I enjoyed it a lot. I learned a lot about the fillers actually, because in my speech too, I have too noticed I've used many fillers actually. Seriously, many people tell me like you must not use but I do that. I don't do it wantedly actually, but it happens. So I'll be working on that, and I'll try to give a speech next meeting. Sure. Hello.
Any more guests? Yes, we have a separate session for you along with our VB membership. Abhilash, you'll be having a special session into a breakup room. So now it's time for me to declare the results. Best tag role player goes to Toastmaster Jimmy. Best role player goes to Toastmaster Kritika, Toastmaster of the day. Best evaluator is Toastmaster Srikanth Kutikrishnan. Best table topic speaker is Toastmaster Nadira. Best prepared speaker is Toastmaster Bharat Vijay Ramesh for his brilliant ice speaker speech. Congratulations to all the winners. Now I declare adjourn the meeting to the next Sunday. Thank you. Now it's time for guest feedback and information.
When we give them a standing ovation.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
standing ovation, at least can we all unmute and clap for it?
Definitely. Let's go ahead.
Can you pin Bharat? You pin him on so we can see him. Host, can we see our icebreaker? Yes, now we can clap. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yes,
and before that, can we please take a group picture? Can I take?
Yes.
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Everyone smile.
Just a minute. Smile. Yeah, thank you.
Welcome.
Now let's all join for informal chat.
Is it raining anywhere else? It's raining at my place.
Yeah, it's raining in my place as well.
Okay.
Not here.